Ryan here with longrangeonly.com. In this video, we're going to talk about a couple things wrapped up into one video. We're going to talk about the Snowy Mountain Rifle Long Range Hunter Pro, which is the rifle that I have here. We're going to talk about the bottom metal, which is part of this rifle. We're also going to talk about the fact that recently they have started making their own actions in-house. This one happens to be the F22R, but most of their line has some version of this in the rifle itself, and they are, like I said, built in-house. So they've got, this one's a 20 MOA split rail. They've got a solid rail. They've got no rail for the ultra lightweight. They've got steel. They've got titanium. They have different options here. So let's just start with the overall rifle, and then we'll get down into the specific components. So like I said, this is their Long Range Hunter Pro. It has a version, their version of the Manners Long Range Hunter stock. I think the adjustable cheek piece back here is the same as what you're going to get from Manners. The big difference is it's got a full Arca rail with a Picatinny rail at the very front. So you can use it like we've got right here on a tripod with an Arca adapter, and then you can use your typical Picatinny rail bipods up front. It has flush cups in the front. This one's on the left, and the rear on the left, and you can get them with flush cups on the bottom if you want. I don't really see a need. One up front, one out rear is good enough. So the stock that makes up the Long Range Hunter Pro is a version of the Manners Long Range Hunter with the rail that Snowy Mountain makes. Okay. Now let's go to, just go out here to the brake. It's got the Snowy Mountain Rifle Snowflake brake. It's an excellent brake. With this 7 PRC barrel I've got on here right now, shooting 195 burgers at 2,900 foot per second, you can spot your shots out at distance. So the brake does an excellent job. This happens to be a 26-inch carbon barrel. Again, as part of this review, we're going to talk about the fact that they've gone in-house on making their barrels. This one's a carbon. This rifle we had built with a 6.5 Creedmoor steel barrel as well, which will be something that we talk about as we work through this. So this 26-inch carbon Snowy Mountain Rifle barrel is shooting excellent. It came with their load development for both barrels. So the 7 PRC is shooting 195 burgers. It's averaging under half minute. Matter of fact, it has not shot a group over it yet. It has roughly 30 or 40 rounds through it. I'm not looking to burn up the barrel for the review purpose. It's shooting excellent. We'll do a long-term review down the road. You'll also probably see it in some vlog style videos, but this barrel is shooting excellent with their hand loads, which is part of the package, and I'll try to wrap that up towards the end. The 6.5 Creedmoor barrel, again with their custom ammo, was shooting sub half minute. It has quite a few more rounds. Both barrels came with load data. I actually loaded up some of my reloads using their data with the 6.5 Creedmoor barrel, and it's shooting excellent. That one is a hot load, but it does shoot well, and the small rifle primer brass does an excellent job of holding pressure. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the bottom metal. This came with 2 magazines. So we got the typical, what I would call typical 3.75 internal length long action magazine. This is, of course, a long action. It also came with a short action internal length magazine. Obviously, the external length is the same as this long action so that it would fit in there, and it feeds very smoothly. So I'll try to get some close-ups here. This is the internal short action magazine. You can see they're externally the same so that they'll fit inside of this action's bottom metal, and that allows us to shoot 6.5 Creedmoor while feeding from a magazine without having feeding issues. You can often tweak long action cartridges or short action cartridges to feed into long action magazines. But once you start getting those 308 and 6.5 Creedmoor, it gets a little more cumbersome to get everything tweaked correctly. It's better just to have the correct magazine. So like I said, I'll get some close-ups of these internal pictures so you can see what that looks like. Then you can see here you've got the long action cartridge magazine and the short action cartridge magazine. Another cool thing about this bottom metal is not only do we have the availability to shoot a long action cartridge and a short action cartridge out of the same rifle, but you can also take this bottom metal out, get a floor plate and the spring and the follower and a little pin. It's already drilled for it, and you can put a floor plate into this bottom metal, so you don't have to buy a different bottom metal, worry about fit and all that stuff. It'll just go right into here. For those that want to swap maybe between like a practice 6.5 Creedmoor fed from a magazine, but you want a bottom metal, like a BDL style bottom metal for hunting, you can do that with this. So it does, in certain situations, cut down the price. Now obviously if you buy all of the pieces, that's going to be more money, but if you buy one or two of the pieces, it cuts down the price, so you don't have to buy an entirely different piece of bottom metal. And it also gives you the option to have all of it if that's what you want. Maybe you want to run 3 different cartridges. One of them you want to do BDL style bottom metal, and the others you want to run magazines. You can do that. This does that extremely well. This particular model does come with the Bixen Andy trigger, and in my opinion that's the best trigger that you can get for most rifles, but especially for hunting rifles. The trigger has over travel built into it. There is absolutely no good reason to have no over travel in a rifle. That might apply to some things like AR-15s or pistols where you need a fast reset, but for hunting rifles it's a detriment. So they've gone with the Bixen Andy, like I said, my favorite trigger. Okay, let's get down to the Snowy Mountain rifle actions. This one is, like I said at the beginning, the F22R. It has a 20 MOA integral rail. It is split. I think this is the best hunting configuration. It's got an integral recoil lug. Again, I think that's the way these actions should be built today for hunting purposes specifically. There's tons of different reasons to do things differently for bench rest rifles, and I'm not going to get into all of the intricacies of bench rest rifles, but for a hunting rifle, this is the way they should be built, in my opinion. It also has a cantilever side bolt release over here. So if you're using a different stock that doesn't is not such a universal fit as the Manners Long Range Hunter or some of the other ones out there, you have to worry less about having that cut out over here in the right spot. Okay. Now, a key component to having this be the switch barrel rifle that it is, and being able to go from a 532 bolt head or case head Magnum down to a 473 bolt head or case head cartridge, is having the ability to swap bolt heads. Now obviously you can get different bolts, everyone has that option, but those are significantly more money. This one, all you do is get the different bolt heads, take this apart, you push this little plunger out right here, and then you take the bolt head off, put the new one on, put the pin back in, set this back in here, push it in, you're locked back in a couple of seconds you've swapped bolt heads. Again, that piece in and of itself is not new. Savage has been doing that for a long time. You can't disassemble it without tools, but you can change the bolt heads and not the whole bolt itself. But the coolest thing here is they're actually using an M16 style extractor, which I think is the best we have available, again, for hunting rifles. And I'm not talking about dangerous game rifles where I believe that the Model 70 or the Mauser style claw extractor is better, but for this type of stuff, this is more than plenty. I've never broken an M16. I have broken Sockos. I have broken the Savage style that some other people use. Bighorn Arms or Zermatt or whatever they're called today uses that Socko style. I have broken several of those as well as Socko extractors. It also has dual plunger, and the ejection on it is extremely smooth. It goes right out here. It doesn't mess with the turret knob on the windage turret like some other actions do because they have such a steep ejection angle. So that really sums it up. All right, here we can see the bolt. Just twist this back, it snaps out. There's a little pin right here. Pop this pin out. The bolt head comes right out. I'm going to go ahead and put it back together. You got to make sure it's not a very complicated deal, but you do have to make sure that it is aligned so that the firing pin will go through the center there. Here we snaps right back in place. You can see right here that it's got the M16 extractor and the dual plunger. All right, let's go ahead and break this down into two separate pieces, the main reason for the review. And that's the component pieces that Snowy Mountain is now making in-house, and the rifle itself, which is the Snowy Mountain Long Range Hunter Pro. So back to the pieces of the rifle. It's a Manners Long Range Hunter stock. It's got the adjustable cheek piece. It's got the Snowy Mountain full-length Arca rail here. It's got the Picatinny up front. It has their Snowflake brake. This one happens to have their in-house carbon fiber barrel. It's got a Vixen anti-trigger. It has what they call the flex bottom metal, and we talked about that. So you have the ability in one bottom metal to run short action magazines. They're short action internal length, long action external length, a long action magazine, or you can run a BDL style floor plate and save yourself a little bit of money from having to buy two complete sets. Okay, it comes with the Snowy Mountain in-house action. This one is the F22R. They have several different options depending on which rifle you buy, and this feels a lot like a Nanook, a Kelby Nanook with better timing. The internal dimensions are similar to a Defiance. It is one of my favorite actions, especially for a hunting action. So they do sell all these components separately in case you just don't want a rifle. It's got a cantilever side bolt release, integral recoil lug. It has a very smooth bolt, quick change bolt head so that you can swap a bolt head and a barrel out in a matter of minutes. It is still threaded, so you'll need a vise and all that stuff. It's not really a quick change barrel, but it is user changeable. Most of the people today can get the tools and put that together, take it apart, put it back together as a different cartridge. The bolt heads are super easy to swap. So whether you are looking for components, we've talked about all these components. The barrel is shooting extremely well. The action is one of my favorite actions. We talked about the integral rail, the swappable bolt heads. We talked about the different options for bottom metal. And like I said, if you're just looking for components, you should check it out. Give them a call, tell them what you're needing for your build, and they'll try to help you out with that. If you're looking for a rifle, they have several different options. This is one of my favorites, if not my favorite, the Long Range Hunter Pro. And you can buy it as a single chambering, like a 7PRC right here, just for hunting, or you can get it like I did, where you can have a 7PRC for hunting season, and you can go practice with a 6.5 Creedmoor or whatever your favorite cartridge is in the off season, and save yourself a little bit of the cost. It is a little bit cheaper to shoot Creedmoor, but they have you covered in all of those different things. Well, like I said, whether you want components, you want a single chambering for a rifle, or you want a hunting rifle that can quickly be changed into a practice rifle, they've got you covered. So check it out, Snowy Mountain Long Range Hunter Pro, and also go check out all of the components that they have available to sell to you to build your own. Maybe they can build you one. Maybe you have a different gunsmith that you would prefer. They have all those components for you. And the guns are, like we said up front, available for custom ammunition from them. So you can either get it from them, it's already had the load developed, and they'll probably provide the information. You can do it yourself from there on, or you can just continue to buy the ammo from them and have hands-off, great shooting rifle. We'll have a link down below in the description to a thread on the forum where you can go ask me any questions about this rifle or the components themselves, and I'll try to get those answered as quickly as possible. If you're not a member on the forum, it's quick, it's free, it's easy to sign up. We would love to have you there. There's tons of great information by the editors, as well as a ton of great information from the forum members that you're not necessarily going to get to see on YouTube. Please like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you'll be notified of future videos. We appreciate you taking the time to watch. Have a great day.